Goodbye.
Alright.
How's it going? We're in the middle of nowhere. Daddy?
I think we're good.
Oh, we're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that's yeah, the ship though.
Thank you.
Alright, whee! Wow, thorough ecosystem. The plan, mate.
What did I do?
The forest. They got poison in there. Paralyze the animal. Oh, nice. Whoa!
What? Why did they say that? Can I go on your lap?
Okay. What I'm gonna do?
Why did I?
Oh, because organic is spoon, so you need to slice that then. Good. Oh no, not yet. There we go. Go here. Oh no. Why? Harvesting the asteroid. 24, see? 2, 4. Same number you should learn. Good. Gas giant. Fuel element found in the atmosphere. Stable. Few large plasma storm. Alright, let's matter. Harvest. Yay! Storm caused damage. Minus. Right, mate? More asteroid. Oh! Any more eggs? Take the egg. Oh no! The mono worms come back. Attack our ship. Damage. A lot of damage.
Let's see this.
Uh oh, we're on fire too. Fire. Fire. Oh, 8 of fire. At a ship. Oh yeah?
Yeah. He do.
Careful. Don't hit anything. Good job. Oh no, we can't repair here. Serious. Yeah. Cheap fuel. Oh, we need to get out here. Whee! Alright. Fly to the gate. Oh, there we go. Up here now. Oh, who's more people? Yes. Welcome aboard. One survivors. One. And what? And organic.
An organic.
And 20. What? See what? No. Ready? That?
But what it is?
You don't know what it is.
Can you put it on mine?
Get there. 10 meter or 20 meter. Ready? Okay. Focus now.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, in picture. Don't wait. Yes! 183 meter. Hold that.
McDonald.
It's intense. Let's go to the planet Mirrors.
We will.
Oh, beautiful planet. Another gas giant. More fuel and storm. Do it. Chaos. Scavenger giant. Yeah. More stuff. Ah. Alright. Oh, this guy. Is he here?
We're in battle position.
Is it? I am confused.
He's gone now.
Who this guy? Alright. So we're gonna gotta save some of my
I don't know.
oh.
What was that noise? Oh.
Go get more fuel, eh? Fuel out tank. 343 fuels. I have so much fuel, we don't know what to do. Put it. Good job, go out. Collect on the can we can. Wow, we are chock-a-block. Fuel now. Try it here. Oh yes, metal. It's a metal. Oh, what's resource pack? Oh no, right then. You boy, you want to shoot in some spaceship, do ya?
Who is ball?
You boy? Yeah.
Oh,
When I read it,
yes.
this almost moon-sized macro planet. Remember the moon? And almost moon-sized the moon has a human breathable atmosphere and full of massive flock of birds was spotted flying near the surface. Most interesting planets seem to have several sides. Its active, abrupt energy probably originate from send a savage shot. Yes. Found it. There's a feeder.
Daddy, what?
Yeah, that's it. Bird. Bird there.
Robot?
Please don't touch. I can find a sheep. Thank you.
Mama.
Metal object.
Oh, yeah.
At a trap. What should we do? Turn off. Disable. Yes.
Yeah.
Close it.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yes. Let's go. Last one. Can get it. Okay. We get this time for you or and here ya.
I think matter.
Metal. See we. Oh, we got some animal. Got some jellyfish attack.
Yeah.
Lost one crew member. Oh no.
What are they?
Lost one. Oh no. Unreal. Oh no. Incoming message. Launch. Oh, what's this? Close you. Oh, we get through it. My the plan.
My
Oh, my
toes.
toes. Yahee!
Yahoo.
Yahoo!
Yahoo.
Yakalahu!
Yahoo.
We get this time.
Hey,
No, no more animals, please.
I think
Yeah.
might be some.
Right.
Oh,
Get. Oh, keep mine. Oh, hang on.
what's flying?
We
in
found
the
a large asteroid comprised mostly of the rare platinum minerals accessible to metal. We could either layer is easy to process for the whole thing. The processing the whole asteroid is an energy intensive. Yeah, take the whole thing. Thank you very much. 161! Woohoo! Woohoo! Yakalahoo! Let's fire the gate and we get out here. I think I am. Oh, planet with life. Um, explore with pots. Mineral in the mountain. Look at that, buddy.
What do you think?
Metal. Caustic. Exotic. What? Uh-oh. Too many metal. Get this guy to repair the ship. We go. Get more fuel. Collect all the fuel we need. What is that? 101.
1 0.
0. 0.
0.
Z.
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 Bro.
Roll.
0.
0.
Uh-oh. Well, we are officially stuck, Jacob. I don't know where to go now. Alright, bedtime, mate. Actually, you may try go back to the beginning. Yeah. Let's see if we can get out this stump. We can. Let's try this one. Ready? Click on unit. There you go. Thank you very much. Where is it? See there? Oh yes! Our grill met with science grill of the station, who turned out to be super sweet. Their love for truth and a completely informal attitude enabled them to connect with our grill on several levels. Many stories were shared and pleasure enjoyed. The event ends with more friends and lovers than existed before. 3 locals who enjoy getting close with our grill quest to join our mission. We had 3 more people. Count with me.
Wait.
Well done. Welcome aboard. Yes, good job. You? Yeah.
Daddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Daddy. Almost.
Yeah.
That is not it.
Yeah. What is my normal voice then?
Yes. Udo.
Oh, we got another guy can control this spaceship. Well done. Look at him. His name Buzzawa. Buzza. Buzzwa. Change his name to Buzzwa.
Me too. This is a water can.
Right?
Get off eating boogie.
Big
Look, a drinky drink.
Awesome. Got more members than ever before. I'm gonna save the position of real member. There we go. You put it on and you sing about it, yeah.
On, but
Beep 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 boo, beep 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 boo.
Beep 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 beep.
Beep beep boo boo, beep beep boo boo, beep beep boo. Come on, sing it.
Hello.
Wouldn't do that.
Stop it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. I got a different voice. Do it. Look at my different voice. Look at my different voice.
Alright, that's enough now.
It's falling. What is that? What is that?
It is an alien cyborg. They named B-Roy.
I don't know that. I don't know that. I don't know that. I love it. What is that?
Insectoid island. no more, no more. That's enough now. Give to me.
I don't want it. Hey, give it. Put it away. I don't want it. Hey.
We need to find somewhere to repair it. Oh no 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 no! Go to my warning message. Oh.
My name is.
We don't want to go there. They're gonna attack in it. They will. No, what do? Let's go. You know what? We might not come back here again. Let's try it. Let's go for it. Security, let's go.
Got it.
Abandoned station. Yahoo! Alright, what do we got here? 2-2.
We got 2 free guns. 1, 2, and 3. We got 3 guns.
Why this one is better?
What?
Old one. One second was an extra 1 energy. Serious? Alright. Pop it. Don't move, please. Stop moving.
Grab what? You mean grab it?
The gun. Not good enough. Whoa, more explosive. The most explosive spaceship in. Oh, what is it? Artificial object again. Get this time. More metal. So that's good. Alright, let's go to the planet. The star system. Here we go. Buy organic. More organic than you. Want to repair my ship. Thank you. $800. That's a lot of money.
It's clean now.
Yeah, nice and clean, isn't it?
I can see the color in it. Hey.
I know, you like it? Alright, let's buy some. I think your bedtime. I need to spend a bit of time in the station anyway, mate. When we pick up again tomorrow, yeah? Is that alright? Pick up where we left it. Hey?
Oh.
That means we continue to play where. Are you going to know? Buddy? Yes, no, maybe. Oh, look what this one is shooting apple too.
What one?
Gun. Plasma cannon. Shooting 18 apples. Take longer.
What is that then? I can't see it.
Alright.
I can't see it.
I need to save some.
what we shall. We need that and that. And that and that. And that. And that. Dude, sorry.
Can we sell then? Eh? Careful please, careful please. Buddy, careful please.
I am.
At the motel. Hi. Let me think. Organic. I think it's bedtime, yeah?
I like to sit.
Yeah.
I see hello.
Carla? Again? Here you go. Alright, I carry you to bed. I carry you to bed, buddy.
Baby girl.
What we got here? Oh, I like that. So take out those. I can put this in. When a spider, do we're gonna travel anywhere? Oh no, guys. Oh, here you go. Yeah, no. Here you're painting. Very nice. Oh, so she just go girly elegant, eh?
Yeah.
And he go that. Makes sense.
I think
Yeah. Yeah, not worth it. Oh, is it massage? Thank you. More massage. Thank you. I think that enough massage now, isn't it? I'm gonna get the apple gun.
Yay, apple gun.
No, I think it's pineapple, not just apple.
Oh, that's silly pie.
Actually, it looked more like durian. I show you durian. You haven't seen durian before. It's spiky fruit. Ready? That durian fruit. Shoot it out. What do you reckon?
It hangs on a tree.
I know. If it falls on your head, it can be ouchies. Look how spiky it is.
Ow.
Big, isn't it? Yeah, but how much of it interests? Which 80% of it cut throat. Look at that, Jacob. They're bigger than a person.
When you touch it, that will.
Yeah, that's why he wear the gloves there. And he catch durian with his hands. Not. Look at this guy. Mommy. Yeah. No. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Pungent durian fruit.
wait, I can't get.
No, you didn't have it. I didn't like it, so I didn't go for it. Volatile sulfur compound in the durians. Yep. Yeah, how much you get in it?
10.
$10. Nah. Well, I mean, you can try.
Those one.
Yeah, depend. I want the fast one. I don't care.
I still can't see you spending on.
No. Like your phone is faster than my phone, and it's not that expensive at all. tomato.
Order another back cover for protect.
Okay.
That one's getting pretty good.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Alright, so I'm gonna get what I'm gonna get. This one too expensive. Might have to scrap it. Scrap that. Scrap that. Sell some tomatoes. Alright, let's go. What's that? Enter the atmosphere. Destroy station. Woohoo. 11 upright. Okay. This. I think that's the same one I just scrapped, isn't it? Let's see if we can pick a fight. You still awake? Fight for honor. Still awake, mate. Alright, nothing then. Max a jump. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, that's risky. Uh-oh. Ah, that's right. Whoa, hello, hello. What are you? Rocket launcher. Okay. The Nookie Nook business. Don't have enough credit to buy it anyway. How expensive though? Maybe you should get one, shall we? $15, 8. Same. What is this? Damage to ship. Damage to modular. That EMP. Build tank nuke. I think that's one good. Let's keep one in our arsenal in case. Let's see if anyone coming to pick a fight. Here we go. Extortionist. Try? No. There are no try needed. Alright, I'm gonna put here the ECM the not many places that can put ECM. Are you serious? Can I move? Oh yes, okay. Move it here. See, I'm gonna go here. Alright. Can watch a little bit. Come here. Not hop on though. What this guy doing? He's a repairman. Alright, which yeah, a lot more bad guy. Sorry. Can you see up there? Yeah, how many bad guys are there? Only 2? Thought more bad guy than that. Sorry? Big bad guy, okay. Alright then. What do we do with them? We shoot the reactor. Here come the pen. Here come the pen. Here come the pen. Excuse me. Excuse me. Not touching, thank you. Oh, this guy. Why is he here? Are you serious? You're not supposed to be here. Oh, don't move, please. Buddy, don't rock the chair, please. What else I need to get out? I need to get that out too. What do I need to put in? Nothing. Okay then. That is in. Where can this move? This one can move everywhere and anywhere. If I move it here. Oh, if I move it here. I got one more gun, isn't it? Yeah, I think so. No, wait, I don't have another gun. Are you serious? Can I upright it? Oh, I can. It costs a lot of... Wow. Okay. Did not know that. Alright, what do we do now? We're gonna... Just leave them here, I guess. Yeah.
Are those guys? Are that?
Yeah, what is it?
Are they so too?
Yeah, they are, yeah.
What are they?
Put in green apple. Right, good night, mate. Good sleep. Alright, come here. Oh. Ah, one of them tried to run away, eh? Which one is it? I think this one tried to run away. Offline? Oh, is he offline? Oh dear me. Come and repair. Yes! One down. Two to go. Uh-oh. It's broken now. What? Are you serious? Alright. Stream over. It's red. Ow!